was a quiet night on the Mona campus of the University of the West Indies, and most students were either asleep or pulling late-night study sessions in their dorms. One student, David, had stayed up late to finish a paper. His dorm room overlooked a grassy area near an old building rumored to have ties to the plantation that once occupied the land. Around 2 a.m., David stretched, ready to call it a night. As he glanced out of his window, he noticed something strange. A shadowy figure standing motionless on the lawn below. It was odd because no one would be out there at that hour. At first, he thought it was one of his classmates playing a prank, but something about the figure seemed off. It didn't move, didn't shift it, and appeared to be watching his dorm building. The longer David stared, the more uneasy he felt. The figure seemed to be a woman in a long, flowing dress, but her features were impossible to make out. Curiosity got the better of him. David grabbed his phone and headed downstairs, determined to prove to himself that it was nothing. When he stepped outside, the air felt heavier than usual, and a chilling breeze swept across the lawn. The figure was still there, standing in the same spot.
Hello?
David called out, his voice echoing in the stillness. The figure didn't respond. As he got closer, he noticed something horrifying. The woman's feet weren't touching the ground. She was hovering just above it, her dress swaying as though caught in a breeze that wasn't there. Her face was still a blur, as if a shadow concealed her features. Suddenly, the figure began to move, gliding, not walking, straight toward him. He wanted to run, but his legs felt like they were stuck in quicksand. The closer she got, the colder the air around him became. Desperate, David whispered a prayer under his breath, and as he did, the figure stopped abruptly. She let out a low, mournful wail that pierced the silence, then dissolved into the night like smoke in the wind. David ran back to his dorm, slamming the door behind him. For weeks, he couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, especially at night. He later learned from campus security that several students had reported seeing the same ghostly woman over the years, always near the same spot. Some say she was a slave who met a tragic end on the plantation, forever bound to the land where she suffered. Others believe she's a warning, a reminder of the campus's dark history. Whatever the truth, David knew one thing for sure. He would never venture out alone at night on the Mona campus again.